Welcome back to So You're Interested In, the show where I break down an artist's discography in order to give you, the viewer, the best possible jumping off point in order to get into their catalog. On this episode, we are going to be looking at the up-and-coming singer-songwriter, Greg Mendez. Based in Philadelphia, Greg has been in the scene for a long time, perfecting his craft through years of recording and releasing his music. Coming up alongside and working with bigger artists like Alex G certainly had an impact on his soundscape and writing tendencies. Pulling from a menagerie of subgenres from lo-fi, indie, folk, and even pop, Greg's sound evolves and morphs with each of his releases. That is, of course, not to say that he's inconsistent, but rather open and willing to change based on the music that he wants to make. What this does mean, however, is that Greg has released a decent, varied chunk of music since his humble beginnings. So, to help you out, I'm going to be recommending 2 albums and 3 individual tracks that I think you should be checking out in order to get into Greg Mendez. As always, we're going to start with the albums. The first Greg Mendez album that you should be checking out is his 2017 effort, Shrug. More than anything, this is a fantastic look at the earlier era of Greg's music. Shrug is where it seems he finally found his fit within the modern indie folk singer-songwriter scene. After hearing the opening track, Gone, you'll feel a kinship budding between you and Greg's music. You'll feel his pain and loss deeply through the downtrodden instrumental and gut-wrenching lyrics. I mean, he literally goes as far to say that the junkies living on his block are more healthy and more put together than he is in that moment, which certainly paints a picture. Then you get a track like Trust, a song that if you listen to with your eyes closed and literally no knowledge of Greg Mendez, you'd think that this is an Alex G B-side off of Rocket. There's a bob and sway to this cut, helping to uplift the instrumental into a sunny, lovely little tune, despite Greg's lamentations and paranoia in the lyrics. You can definitely take this next comment and pretty much apply it to all of the songs on this record, but if you're an Alex G fan, you're gonna like this song. One cut that really flexes Greg's lyrical prowess is Plastic Jesus. This more cryptic text is still a catchy one, with the instrumental skipping in the background in unison with the vocal melody. I don't want this to sound like a knock on Greg or his music, but a lot of these songs won't necessarily blow you away. Instead, what you'll find on Shrug is a collection of short, accessible tunes that is bound to have at least one song on here that you'll like. And with a runtime under 20 minutes, I think you'll be able to find the time to give this record a fighting shot. The next LP to start spinning from Mr. Mendez is actually his latest self-titled release. I'll be real with y'all, I was not aware of Greg Mendez until this album dropped, and I saw a bunch of people online talking about it and hyping it up. And I'll tell you what, those anonymous posters were onto something, as this self-titled album is an absolutely beautiful and enjoyable experience. Greg's sound palette has always been on the more basic side of things, but he takes minimalism to a whole new level on this project. Kicking off this record is Reverend John Friend, which enlists this minimalistic concept from the get-go. Opening up with organ chords and moving directly into a rustic acoustic guitar, there are absolutely no frills to be found here. Instead, Greg allows this song to slowly build on top of itself, incorporating more and more instruments until the song is full and complete. One of the cuts on here that relishes the most in its flourishes is Maria. If you were to find yourself only singing one song from this album, I'd be willing to bet the house that it's Maria. The vocal passages are absurdly catchy and original, while the instrumental helps to chug this piece along. Maria is simply stunning, and I think that you're gonna feel the same way after hearing it. Immediately following Maria in the track listing is Goodbye Trouble. The subtlety of this song is apparent, which does sound like an oxymoron, but it's the little touches in the mix that brightens this track up. Not to mention, the overall structure of Goodbye Trouble is magnificent, elegantly transitioning from one section to the next, never losing its magic. Eventually, this album closes out with the more depressing cut, Hope You're Doing Okay. Man, this is a tough one simply because of how sad and real the lyrics are, as Greg sings about a friend of his and their constant struggle with addiction. It hits home even harder with this Jack Johnson, Randy Newman-ass acoustic guitar progression. Hope You're Doing Okay features some of my favorite Greg Mendez lyrics, as he pens some brutally honest passages on what it's like to be down on your luck and hoping for more. Despite its brevity, this self-titled release is stuffed to the gills with outstanding songs that nearly anybody could find themselves enjoying. Don't be a fool and toss on this LP. Now that's gonna wrap up the albums, but we still got some tracks to cover. First up, go ahead and give a listen to the track Late Bloomer from his 2018 record N-Gum Trash. This is a much more rambunctious and rousing track in comparison to everything we've discussed thus far. There's an energy here that borders between indie rock and punk with hard crashing drums and striking guitar riffs. Greg's vocals are as lively as ever too, adding an extra dimension of vibrancy to this cut. And honestly, most of N-Gum Trash keeps that same tempo going throughout, which is certainly a nice change of pace. Do yourself a solid and don't pass up on Late Bloomer. Next, you should probably be listening to Long Division from his 2020 LP, Cherry Hell. This quiet track is an astonishingly gorgeous piece from front to back. Between the harmonized vocals and softly plucked guitars, Long Division is the musical equivalent of Sleeping on a Cloud. Everything about this track is light and airy, except of course for the lyrics, which are all about trying to keep a lover close despite their best efforts. And with a runtime under 2 minutes, it's simply too easy of a track to pass up. Finally, I think you should hit play on the live recording of Bike from the 2022 record, Live at Purgatory. Originally recorded for Cherry Hell, this song translates so well to a live setting. Greg's wavering vocals are tender yet impactful as he pours his heart out and yearns for his old life. He may sound timid at times, but that's just the strong emotions trying to break free. Not to mention, the simplistic instrumental approach, just a guitar and some backing synths, fits the nature of this track to a T. Bike is a lovely little tune that must be heard by any incoming Greg Mendez fans. And that is going to wrap up my video covering Greg Mendez. Links to all the albums and tracks discussed here will be located in the video description box below. Scroll down even further to the comment section where you can let me know if you liked any of the albums or tracks that I picked here. Maybe you're a huge Greg Mendez fan who thinks that I completely butchered this list. That's totally fine. Go to the comments and let me know. Any discourse is good discourse, so leave a comment and I'll be sure to get back to you. You can also recommend any artists you would like to see covered on this show. Just know that I do have a bit of a backlog built up, so if I don't get to it right away, it's nothing personal. I'm probably working on it. I've been given some good recommendations as of late, and I'm currently working on those videos, so hopefully we'll be seeing them soon. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you can be the first ones in the know about new videos coming out. I do videos just like this every single week along with other shows on this channel like Stacks of Wax, Where It's At, The Variety Show. I'm always thinking of new things to be putting up on this channel, so hopefully you're watching it and hopefully you're enjoying it. That is going to do it for me this time around, outside of my usual reminders for you to go out and support your local record store if you are able to, along with the local artists in your area, and, well, until I see you next time, happy listening.